Hey everybody, welcome back to Fiverr Talks. My name is Joel and it's What's Up Wednesday. Today we're asking, what's up with buyer requests? That's right, we've come up with some great ideas for how to segment these videos every single week for you. And by we, I mean me, the mad mind behind all this content. And I've come up with some great structure. I think Mondays are great for motivation because we need to get started. So our Monday videos are going to be Motivation Monday videos. And Wednesday is a great time to stop, look around, and ask what's up. And so Wednesdays are going to be What's Up Wednesday videos. And then Friday, of course, is our exclusive content on Patreon where we go deeper. We're just calling those Friday awesome, detail, great information videos. We'll shorten the title later, talk about it. Leave me a comment down below, let me know what you think, or maybe if you've got an idea for what Friday videos should be called. Today, we're asking, what's up with buyer requests? So this is a question a lot of you have been asking about in the comments section. Thank you for your feedback, and oftentimes those questions and those comments will lead to actual videos here on the channel, so you want to make sure and let us know down below what you're thinking. And today we're talking about something called buyer requests, and if you're not familiar with what those are, let's talk about just a basic structure of what a buyer request is on Fiverr. So essentially, how most buyers purchase services on Fiverr is by browsing through the subjects, by searching for keywords, by looking through the gig offerings on the platform. There's several different ways they can do that, but by and large, buyers will go through and search for services, creative services, and purchase them through gig pages. However, a small portion of buyers will put out something called a buyer request. A buyer request is a lot like a classified ad on Fiverr, basically saying, here's who I am, here's what I'd like to have done. Can anyone out there help me with this? And those buyer requests are placed in the buyer requests section of Fiverr. And they're actually categorized by the type of service someone's looking for, maybe services they've bought in the past. And Fiverr will match your services to specific buyer requests and show them in the buyer requests section of your dashboard. So if you've ever wondered what these buyer requests are, that's what they are. They're essentially a classified ad or like a Craigslist post that a buyer put out in an effort to reach the best sellers or a large group of sellers in a shorter amount of time, rather than browsing around and sifting through talent themselves. Now, the main question that you're asking in the comment section is not what are buyer requests, but are they worth the time? Are they worth our trouble? And I believe that is a very difficult answer to give because in my experience, they have not been that helpful. They have not been a great source of leads, but I also realize that I am in a very specific niche or subsection of Fiverr that may not be a reflection of the entire scope of the platform, meaning that I sell voiceovers, I sell marketing videos, animation videos, things like that. You may be a copywriter and buyer requests may be the best way for you to connect with clients. So I would love to hear your feedback down below. Leave me a comment if you've been in the buyer request section or used buyer requests before and what your experience has been so everyone can learn from that. But I'll speak from my side. In the video, voiceover, animation world, buyer requests are very difficult to turn into actual purchases and to use as leads. Now, there is a limit on how many buyer requests you can send. You can send 10 per day, count them, 10 per day. And when things are slow, I'll often jump over there and send my 10 requests per day, or my 10 responses to buyer requests per day. And essentially what you do is you can browse through and read the description that somebody's left. Hey, I'm looking for this. This is the kind of project, and here's the budget. And what you'll do is send a response, a message with a quote, and tell them what you can do. Maybe you'll send some portfolio links, whatever it is, just a message. Hey, consider me. Here's who I am. Here's what I can do. And here's how much it will cost. It's essentially like starting a message thread with somebody. And that's what it does. If they actually respond, it starts a message thread in your inbox. And like I said, in my experience, they haven't been a great source of leads. And there's a couple reasons for that. First and foremost is because there is a ton of competition on buyer requests. Sometimes buyers that put out requests don't look at responses for like a week. They don't check responses every day. So they might come in and see a pile of like 50 responses and yours is somewhere in there. It's like submitting a resume through monster.com. You're just sitting in a pile, hard to get noticed, very low response rate and actual conversion rate on responses to buyer requests. In my experience, it's just a very, very difficult thing to turn into a sale. And for those reasons, I've seen very little results from it. And essentially knowing that the type of person that would put out a buyer request is someone who's looking for everything to come to them and not necessarily willing to look for the best and the brightest on their own, using their own eye, which is who I prefer to work with anyway. So I've used them, not a lot of success. There's a ton of competition in there, but there are a few things that I've learned from winning some buyer requests over the years that I can share with you on how to write a good response to a buyer request that might increase your odds, because like I said, I think there are some niches and some parts of Fiverr where buyer requests might be really effective, and you at the very least, if you're starting out or if you're slow or something like that, give them a try, because though they are time consuming to craft messages, though it does take time and effort and attention to do that, if you're slow and you're trying to start or you're at the beginning of something and you need the traffic, this is one way to try to go and scare up some customers. So here's what I would say is the key to writing a successful response to a buyer request. First and foremost, do not send form messages or templated messages, meaning you write up a templated message and simply send that same, copy and paste it to 10 people every day. Send that same message out over and over and over. Don't do that. People hate that. They don't respond to that at all. What you should do instead is write a personalized message for each and every request you're going to respond to, which is tough because it requires you to take the time to stop and read all the details of the request and then specifically mention how you're going to fulfill the details they're looking for in your response. Make your response specific and cite things that they've put in their requests so they know you read it. In fact, I've seen people actually write in their requests somewhere in the middle, make the first sentence of your response, I love dogs, and I'll know that you read the whole request. Otherwise, they don't even read everything. This kind of fun little tricky thing that I've seen some people do. So make sure you read the entire request, include customized details, include portfolio links or links to work that you've done that might be similar to what they're asking for. Give them reason to believe you can do what they're asking you to do, or you can achieve what they're looking for. This is what people are after. They are going to respond, buyers are going to respond to the most customized personal messages. And anything that looks like a form or that it was copy and pasted or doesn't really have any information about their specific project in it will probably be chucked. Just like a resume, you need to write a good cover letter so people know that you're interested in that job and not just a job. So it needs to be personal, it needs to be customized, and you need to make sure that the buyer requests that you're responding to are extremely applicable to your gigs. Otherwise, it's going to be a stretch and it's going to be harder for you to win those jobs. For instance, if someone is looking for a logo design, you're looking for a logo design and you're a graphic designer and you have a general sketch gig, like I'll illustrate anything, I'll do print layout graphic design. Don't apply for a logo design unless you have a logo design gig. Make sense? Like if somebody's looking for something similar to a service I offer, I might be tempted when things are slow to try to stretch and apply for that gig or send out a response to that request with something that's close to what I do. Don't do that. Look for requests, be selective, look for requests that specifically are asking for services that correlate exactly to gigs and services that you already offer. That way, when they're looking through this pile of responses, yours will stick out. Okay, we're looking for a logo. This guy designs logos. He has a logo design gig and he's completed 2,000 projects with a 4.9 star average review. See what I mean? Who would you pick? So don't waste your time responding to buyer requests that aren't extremely applicable to the projects and samples and work that you do on Fiverr. Otherwise, you could just be wasting your time. So that's my 2 cents on buyer requests. It was free, so it's worth what you paid for it. Hopefully it'll help you to actually get something started with those. And if you have any success or any more feedback about buyer requests in your situation, leave it down below. Let the community know. That's what this channel is all about. Not just my knowledge, but spreading knowledge from everybody here, because experience is knowledge, and all of you out there have some sort of experience you can share. So leave that down below. And hey, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, maybe share it with somebody that you know who's a seller on Fiverr or interested in becoming a seller on Fiverr. We're looking to grow this community so that some great things can happen, so I can put more time and attention on this channel. And one way you can do that is by supporting the channel through Patreon. And it's not just for nothing. You get great exclusive content every Friday. It's long form. I answer questions. I do Q&A videos over there on Patreon. I don't do them here on YouTube anymore. I answer your comments and questions. We have a little chat community. You can send me messages, all kinds of cool stuff. And it just starts at $5 a month. And I guarantee that you'll get more value out of that content than you will spend on it through Patreon. So consider supporting the channel like that so I can make more videos and keep you updated. And as always, thank you for watching. Keep doing, because the future favors the doers.